Hey folks! Happy New Year 2022 is here. Meet the new boss? Same as the old boss? I don't know, but the Leafs are supposed to play hockey tonight. What's happening? We're going to break it all down right here for you on the OZone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. That's Coach, that's KD, and I'm the Devo. We're here to talk all things Leafs. We're back, 2022. Well, that happened, or it didn't happen, or who cares? The Leafs are playing tonight, and that's what matters, right? Right? They're playing tonight, right?
Yeah, well.
Okay, so we lost some games there. Maybe we'll make them up in the future. I don't think anyone knows at this point. That's likely the plan for now. We lost the World Juniors. Before we get into tonight's game, KD, what are your thoughts on what's transpired over the last 10 days?
Well, I mean, it's this Omicron and COVID or whatever. I mean, it's running rampant, and you know the response is to be careful, and it's going to make hockey and scheduling things and getting games played tough.
Yeah. I mean, Coach, what happened? Are we out of the woods?
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? By the way, Happy New Year, fellas.
Happy New
Good
Year.
to see you again. Here's the thing. So Ontario or Canada cuts it down to little or no attendance. You got 77,000 people that watch the Cotton Bowl here in Dallas. Not a one had a mask on. Who's right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm not a lab technician. I did sleep in a Holiday Inn Express last night. But I, you know, who knows, right? So I'm just happy. Fingers crossed, we might get a game in here tonight. You're right, though, Kev. You touched on the World Juniors getting canceled. That was really disappointing. Surely they could have handled that better to account for this thing. But I don't think anybody saw this variant running like wildfire. Seemed like especially through Alberta, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the cases with the NHL shutting down were coming out of teams in Alberta, including Edmonton and Calgary, and then the juniors. That was disappointing. But I don't know. I'm just happy we can maybe get back to it. And, you know, Gord Downey said courage couldn't come at a worse time. I think maybe this break couldn't have come at a better time for the Leafs and their roster. Almost everybody's kind of through it now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. You know, when we last had hockey, we were expecting Spezza to come back from his suspension, his shortened suspension, and then this COVID was taking the team down. So we had a bunch of games, 3 games, I think, that got postponed thus far, knock on wood. And we had a pretty depleted lineup going into some of those games, especially with the COVID protocol. So, I mean, when you look at the lineup for tonight, certainly on the forward side, it's pretty intact. You got to like that. And on the defensive side, you know, it's pretty intact as well. Liljegren's still not out of the woods yet.
Yeah.
But not only do we have a team that pretty much all came down with COVID all at the same time, and then all came out of the protocol at the same time, just in time for a game. We got both our goalies, Campbell and Mrazek, sitting there available. And, you know, I don't know how it's totally going to work, but they're talking about, you know, the taxi squad, which all of a sudden gives Toronto access to a bunch of players that, you know, with the waiver wire, you were a little bit worried to move up and down through the lineup. So that says something, I think, and it puts the Leafs in a pretty good spot. Coach, what do you think about the lineup as it's looking right now? I mean, nothing's for sure. We got to wait until puck drop, but, you know, it looks pretty good.
It does. It does. You know, this situation right now on left wing reminds me of about 3 or so years ago with Matt Martin. So, you know, Mike Babcock, huge Matt Martin guy, real good player, good pro, does things right, eats right, fights right, has a beer the right way, good pro. So he loved them, and he was important for that team when the kids were just starting out, had a little protection there. But they changed that season, and they became more about having the puck and scoring goals and being fast and difficult to play, not slow and I'll beat the shit out of you, difficult to play. And they had to ship Matt Martin out.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the Nick Ritchie situation. If you look at left wing, and we've talked about this on the pod before, left wing is the worst position for the Leafs of all of them. There's a lot of quantity, not so much quality. Even so, if you go by merit, Ritchie shouldn't play. And I think we're seeing projections that he's not going to play tonight. He might be a healthy scratch. And, that's unfortunate, but it's not like he hasn't had a chance, right, fellas?
Yeah.
I mean, he's had all kinds of chances. He's played on Matthews' wing. He's got power play time, just hasn't done much. So that's something to watch. I don't know if they're able to move him. Maybe with the waiver wire, I know maybe you can bury him there. I don't know. But one other thing about the lineup tonight, Mitch Marner is back.
Right.
And so with all this COVID stuff and everything, we kind of missed the fact that he skates off the ice in practice. Seems like he's okay. Well, okay, we're going to hold him out tonight. A little caution. Then he goes on the IR.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, this is a guy's top 5 in scoring last year. We need that. Well, he's back, and I predict he's going to be electric tonight. That guy loves to play. I think he's going to be great.
Yeah, great point. Kev, what do you think about the lineup as it's projected for tonight?
Well, I mean, we have all our horses back in, right? So we got to like that. I do like the idea that we've given a break to, the guys that we were kind of also crapping on. If you look at Hall and Muzzin and those guys, seemed like they were tired and getting run down and didn't have time or space, and now they've had a chance to breathe, get through this space here. So hopefully we'll see a rejuvenated shutdown pair. If that happens, if you get your Marners back and now you get Mikheyev, our second soupy or soup or whatever he is, he's back playing, and then you can get that shutdown pair playing at a higher level. I mean, the team's already top 5 in the league with these problems. If these problems sort themselves out, who knows? Maybe we go on a nice run.
Yeah, it's a good point, Kevin. Also, just to add a little bit to that, the access of a taxi squad that brings Hosang closer to the team, and potentially Robertson. Now, we've talked about this, we've chatted about this, guys, but what's his status? Does anyone really know? He should be skating by now.
As Shrek would say, it's quiet.
Yeah.
Too quiet.
Yeah, and and one last thing for me, it's a bit of a New Year's resolution. I'm going to try not to harp on 20 too much, but if the lineup
if he's out of the lineup, it'll be easy not to harp on him.
Yeah,
right?
So we're going to shorten this pod by 5 minutes every time, then, right? That's all we talk about.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's something. If he's not in the lineup, and we haven't filled out the taxi squad yet, and as Coach said, from a merit point of view, who sits? I mean, it's not Engvall.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not going to be Bunting. It's not going to be Kerfoot. Kerfoot's having his best season. So, I just don't see it for him.
Like we were talking about this on our text too. Mikheyev fits like a glove on that third line.
Yeah.
And he may want to play top 6 minutes. But my goodness, that third line is everything you want, everything Keefe wanted with those 3 guys there, him and Cachet in the other wing and Kampf in the middle. You can play those guys, start them in their own end all the time. It's fantastic. Like that, if you're a coach, you got to be excited about that line. Matthews, Marner, and Tavares and Nylander, they're going to do what they do.
Yeah.
But man, you can flip those guys over the boards and take a tough draw against anybody in the league.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that speaks a lot about Kampf, and you get Mikheyev playing, quote unquote third line minutes, but he's fast. He's great at chipping the puck out and bringing it down the ice, and that's you put him on Kampf's wing where he's winning draws and that first pass out. I mean, they did a great job of tilting the ice all year, and you throw in a speedster and a guy with size like Mikheyev, and If he shows a little bit of finish, that could be a real exciting line.
I know. If he has Kev's hands, he scores 30 last year. Shit. If he had your hands, Devo, he gets 20.
Yeah. It's true. All right, well, let's get ourselves into some predictions. This is where we're going to lay it all on the line here, fellas. We got a Leafs game tonight, 2022. Eh? A Leafs game. What do you think's going to happen? Coach, we'll start with you.
I'm a little out of practice on this one, guys. Who we got tonight anyway?
The Sens.
That's a 4-pointer. Division game.
Yep.
So I think if I go back to the archives, I probably have a pick from way back that I could. Yeah, 4-1 Leafs win, and Matthews scores.
Okay.
So actually, look, the Sens have given us trouble, but who knows where things are? Got 2/3 of the team coming back from COVID. They've had problems there too.
Yep.
I do know. I like DJ Smith, and his team always plays hard. They're still a little outmanned, even though Thomas Chabot's going to play 38, 43 minutes, whatever he does over there. But I think the Leafs win because, like Devo, like you said right off the top, we got all our horses back here. And maybe shake some rust off early, but I think we're going to be good, and I think we're going to be good for a fairly long stretch here. Look, we're third in our division here, right? Mm-hmm. And we got a couple games in hand. But that's going to be a good battle, Tampa, Florida, Toronto, for the top 2 spots and maybe avoid a play-in, which we've kicked around. Hey, we don't like play-ins.
KD, what do you think?
Yeah, I think rust is the key, as Scotty said. I think there's going to be lots of it on both sides. People have had time off, but they've also haven't been able to play. Practices, I'm sure if you looked at who practiced each day, it's been all over the place. So it's going to be ugly. Matthews is a Sens killer. Mike, you like to talk about the teams that kill us. Well, Matthews scores all the time against the Sens. So I'm calling for a hat trick from Matthews. I'm calling for a 5-4 game. I think it's going to be wild and all over the place. Ottawa's actually pretty dangerous that way too. They can skate. They're one of the few teams that maybe are faster than Toronto. So I think that's going to be some problems. But I like the Leafs getting back on track. Seeing some of our old shiny toys are rejuvenated and get the boys going. I like Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl over Oklahoma State, and I think the Big Ten wins 2 out of 3 against the SEC today.
Yeah. SEC laying an egg this year in the postseason.
Well, not if you looked at yesterday. I think the SEC did pretty good yesterday.
I think they closed the gap. They were 0-for going into yesterday, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those pesky Senators. I will say this: their first 2 lines play the Leafs pretty hard, and they are fast, and they like to battle a little bit. They really are pesky. It's the depth that they're in a little bit of deep water on here. The Leafs have a pretty thick lineup, as we've been saying all day, and the Sens still have some guys in the protocol. So I think that's going to be the difference. Let's also remember that when they shut down games, the Sens were playing pretty good. They were beating some good teams. They beat the Avs, Lightning, Panthers. So maybe this break cooled them off. Let's hope. But I agree. I think it's probably going to be some rust and some ugliness early on in this game. I'm calling for a 6-3 Leafs win, and I think 65 is going to score one.
Love it. Love it.
We'll take it.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. Like the video, hit subscribe. I don't think we're out of these COVID woods just yet, but you know what? We have Leafs hockey tonight, and that's what matters. And we've got you covered right here on the OZone.
Go Leafs, go Irish.